Have you ever found yourself sitting in silence, perhaps late at night, feeling a sudden wave of anxiety wash over you? You begin to question why life, which is supposed to be a journey, feels so often like a battle. Problems seem to arrive from every direction: work, relationships, the noise of social media, the uncertainty of the future. When these waves hit, we often scramble for a lifeline. We try to be patient. We pray. We seek professional help. Or sometimes, in our darker moments, we think of desperate escapes. But what if the antidote to this modern chaos was actually discovered over 2,000 years ago? What if a shipwrecked merchant in ancient Greece uncovered a mental framework that is not just a philosophy, but a survival guide for the human soul? This is the wisdom of Stoicism, or as it is beautifully described in the book, The Veranda Philosophy, a guide to mental toughness and unshakable calm. Welcome to the Wealth Up Hub, where visionary mindsets turn into real wealth actions. Your future self thanks you. Today, we are going to step onto the veranda of our own minds. We are going to explore how an ancient way of thinking can protect your peace, specifically by looking at the core principles of Stoicism that have empowered leaders, emperors, and thinkers for centuries. The story begins with Zeno, a wealthy merchant from around 300 BC. After losing everything in a shipwreck, he found himself in Athens. There, stripped of his material fortune, he discovered philosophy. He began teaching on a painted porch, or stoa, giving birth to the term Stoicism. But this isn't about suppressing your emotions or becoming a stone. It is about two distinct goals: living free from destructive emotions like envy, fear, and unchecked anger, and living with virtue, becoming the best version of a human being you can be. In our modern world, where we are constantly bombarded by the highlight reels of others, this philosophy is more relevant than ever. We see the wealth of others and feel poor. We see the happiness of others and feel lonely. But Stoicism asks us to pause and look at where our peace actually comes from. The most powerful tool in this philosophical toolkit is what is known as the Dichotomy of Control. If you take only one thing from this session, let it be this: there are things in this life we can control, and there are things we cannot. It sounds simple, but we spend most of our lives fighting against it. We cannot control the economy, the weather, the traffic, or the opinions of others. We cannot control our reputation fully, nor can we control the family we were born into. Yet how many sleepless nights do we spend worrying about what a colleague thinks of us, or fearing a market crash, or raging against a rainy day that ruined our plans? What we can control is our mind. We control our judgments, our intentions, and our actions. When we tie our happiness to external things like fame, money, or the approval of others, we are essentially handing the keys to our happiness to strangers. We become slaves to circumstance. But when we tie our contentment to our own character and our own choices, we become invincible. No one can stop you from being honest. No one can stop you from being kind. That is a fortress no one can breach. This brings us to the concept of living in accordance with nature. Now, this doesn't mean going to live in the woods. It means using what makes us distinctly human, our ability to reason. When we lash out in anger in a comment section because we read a headline we didn't like, we are bypassing our reason. We are reacting like animals. But when we pause, analyze, and respond with wisdom, we are living as we were designed to live. Consider the concept of perception. The Stoics believe that events themselves are neutral. It is not the event that hurts us, but our view of the event. Imagine you lose your job. That is a fact. It is an event. But the thought, "I am a failure," or "this is a disaster," is an interpretation. You could just as easily interpret it as, "this is a chance to pivot," or "this is a difficult transition I will overcome." You cannot control the event, but you have absolute authority over the story you tell yourself about it. We often suffer more in imagination than in reality. To combat this, the Stoics practice something called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It sounds dark, but it is actually a form of emotional immunization. Just as a vaccine introduces a weak virus to teach the body to fight, visualizing potential hardships teaches the mind to stay calm. If you visualize losing your wealth or facing a difficult conversation, You realize that even if the worst happens, you will still be standing. You will still be you. You remove the fear of the unknown by making it known. Finally, we must learn to love our fate. Amor fati. The past is dead. It is utterly outside your control. Regret is a waste of the energy you need for today. Whether you have been dealt a winning hand or a losing one, the only rational choice is to play it to the best of your ability, right now. Resisting reality only creates suffering. Accepting it creates the space for action. As we draw this reflection to a close, let's gather the essential threads of this ancient wisdom. To build a life of true wealth, which is a life of peace, we must practice these core truths. First, distinguish clearly between what you can control and what you cannot. Invest your energy only in the former. Second, remember that events are neutral, and it is your judgment that colors them good or bad. Third, practice negative visualization not to worry, but to strengthen your gratitude for what you have right now. Fourth, embrace your reality completely, for loving your fate is the only way to master it. Remember, fortune may come from things beyond our control, but what is in our control is the action we take today. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because like and subscribe are in your hands. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one. The Wealth Up Hub, level up your wealth.